Hello, welcome. Hi, students.
Yeah, Miss Petra here.
And Ms G.
And what we're doing today is we're demonstrating. You guys got your watercolors.
Yeah, we got here. Look at this came. You should have gotten these actually with the
and paper too.
And paper, right?
Yeah.
You should have watercolor paper from the last couple times. And then we also have the watercolor kits.
And there's a little brush in there, and you can use that one, or if you have other brushes at home, you can use those. We have other brushes at home too, so we're going to use some of those. But we'll just show you a few basic things, and I think we have another camera going here.
Yes, we do.
So you can see
what
the picture
we're
I'm
doing.
going to work on.
You can kind of see, just fill up a little plastic glass full of water. You can put your brushes in there to rinse off.
And the thing that's cool about watercolors is you don't have to worry about going over and over and over them like you can with paint. It's almost nicer if you just make little touches of things. So they're kind of a sketchy medium. Yeah. And you can just go over once or twice, and then it's really nice. And I'll do a little demo here.
Okay, well,
and I'm going to put my brush in the water.
All right, hold on.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look at this. I'm not sure. I'm going to work on this thing that I made. I started making...
You've already drawn something here.
Yeah, I've drawn it with the permanent markers that we use on the soccer balls.
Oh.
And so this is called mixed medium, where I use two different mediums. I use watercolor medium, and I've used the marker that we used, which is a permanent marker.
So the soccer ball marker that we sent, you could actually use to draw on this watercolor paper.
Yeah, and you don't have to do that. You could do that with a light pencil or something like that.
Sure.
You can make a more traditional watercolor. But I'm just gonna. So I'm looking at my colors, and I'm thinking, well, this red looks really appealing to me. So I'm just making my decisions based on my emotional attachment at the time. And I think what I'm going to do is I put a little water on here on this red. We'll just get this red really going, okay?
Yeah, that sounds
And now
good.
what I'm going to do is get it really watery, and I'm going to do a wash. And what a wash is, it's just kind of a little glaze of color. It's not really rich, deep color. It's just a little wash of color. Let's see how it looks. Look at that. Yeah. So
you can still see the marker underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of pinkish because it's got so much water. And look at as I go down with a little less paint on there, it gets a little pinker as I come down. Now, if I want to make that darker up here, I can just, put a little dark in there, let it kind of bleed out maybe. See?
Oh, yeah.
And, and I can put a little darker edge over here if I want, and then maybe that's a little too dark, so I want to got a little more water there, and I want to turn it into a wash.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like that.
And blend it down.
Yeah.
See, but I'm only doing one stroke, and now I'll let that dry.
Okay.
Okay? And then maybe what I'll do is I'll put something really radically different over here. I'll put, like, maybe that dark blue. I think that's a dark blue there.
Dark blue, yeah. You can do
I think that's dark blue. But if I put more water in it, or a purplish. If I put more water in it, it'll turn kind of
look at that.
lighter.
It's purple.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
So I'm gonna just put maybe that over here.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And see, look at how I made it darker. I kind of got the color a little denser and richer there, and I made it a little darker on that edge.
Very nice.
See, and if I want to use some available water, I'll just make a wash.
A wash.
Look at that.
It's called a wash.
A wash.
A wash.
And that gives it a little tint of color. See on the hair.
Very
And I like that.
nice.
I like that so well that I think I might add a little in here.
Ooh.
And look at, I dripped, so I'm just going to take that.
Oh, you took advantage of the drip too. Yeah. Very cool.
So anything that kind of happens is fine.
With the watercolors, sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to just make that wash kind of blend into the pink.
Well, that looks really cool, and I had a different approach that I did to my watercolor.
I'm going to let that dry.
Well, that's drying. I'm going to show you what I did, okay?
And I'm going to let that dry before I make any more moves.
Okay, well, we'll switch places here a little bit. I just wanted to show you kind of I actually did a watercolor, but I did it sort of in a traditional way, and then you can kind of see it here on the table. I'll show it up here as well. It's a portrait of my dog, Rooster. So you've met Rooster in other videos, but you can actually do some real realistic type of work with your watercolors. You draw it in pencil. I drew it in pencil first, you can see, and then I you can kind of, then I just took did the wash with certain browns and yellows and mixed them. You can mix them. So
that's more the traditional.
That's more the traditional.
People work on
so I thought I'd do something a little different. I actually I did sort of a wild, crazy pattern. I really wanted to try to do a watercolor wash pattern. So I'm going to put the pattern down first. And I'm actually going to use the marker. I'm going to do opposite. I'm going to draw with the permanent marker over my pattern.
Wow. So you can break rules. You can do anything you want to do.
Yep. So
most people wouldn't do that, but she's going to do it because she wants to experiment and be creative. And
yeah, because this is kind of like this little bubble thing I got going on here. So I want to like kind of play with that, with the shapes on that, like make the round, and then actually kind of like create sort of this almost cartoon-like kind of feeling with some of the dark lines in there, you know, and make some interesting shapes.
You're on camera up above now.
Yeah,
too.
you can kind of see it as I'm working, and you know, so you can like
Oh, that really.
You can accentuate
kicks out the space.
Yeah, you can accentuate
really
some of the
defines
spaces that you made, like some of these negative spaces in here that I defined with the watercolor. I can actually outline them and make kind of this weird pattern, which is a design in and of itself because.
And you waited until the watercolor dried,
right?
Before you started doing.
Before I started doing this, so you can like figure out what you want to do for a pattern. Because I wanted to try something kind of different, and because I want to use this pattern as I'm actually going to do something really crazy.
Really? Wow.
Really.
So one crazy idea leads to another.
I know. Well, last year we did this project called the Mini Wachoni machine.
Yeah.
And we took recycled water bottles because we were honoring water. Water is life. Mini Wachoni is water is life in Lakota. And we got these recycled water bottles with these corks, recycled corks, and some duct tape. And we dried out the water bottles, we cut them open, and then we put inside little watercolor paintings. But you have to make them small because this will not fit in this, okay? Because we use patterning. So what I'm going to do, since this is all dry and it's got like this, I'm going to actually cut mine into...
And we're going to do this project like the week after.
Yeah,
this
I'm going
project.
to cut my... I'm going to cut my pattern into like quarters, like one here and one here. You can kind of see me cutting here.
Whoa, wow, you're really cutting that up. You're kind of making the decision.
I'm making into four. I made one into four, so I'm making kind of design decisions. Here's like these abstracts.
Wow, so now you got 4 paintings.
I've got 4 paintings.
That's cheating almost.
So anyway.
She goes, oh, teacher, I'm really productive. I got 4
so
paintings.
So if you want to try doing some different patterns and making a lot of little pattern pieces like this, if you want, next week we're going to send some recycled water bottles and corks and duct tape for some duct tape art.
We'll talk about that.
And we'll talk about later. But you can save your pieces that you do. You may not want to keep them, but save them because we want to use them for next week. And you can kind of see some water bottle.
You can see the bubble balls.
The water bottle art I did behind me on canvas. So I like, doing art with water.